everything was discussed. Everything was interrogated and scrutinized and explored. Sam Mendes, his approach to rehearsing is extraordinary. You discuss it as a group, even if you're not in the scene. You're encouraged to discuss it. You begin by sitting down around the table, all of you, reading the script, and you do that. You just read it through, and then the second time you read and you stop. Anyone can stop at any point to ask a question or to discuss something, and you kind of do that quite a few times. And then you start. And the discussions that we would have around the table were really illuminating. Someone might say, "Well, that reminds me of," and you talk about something personal that happened in your life, and then it sparks a debate. And all of this, you're all in the room when all of this is being talked about and discussed, so that you're all kind of your nests are feathered with the same information. It's really helpful. And then as you go on, when you're rehearsing and you're on your feet, you might try a scene, and then Sam will give you a direction. You'll try it that way, and you'll try it lots of different ways, and you're realizing that you are layer by layer creating the internal life of this character in response to what the fellow actors are doing. And it just feels very organic, and you have this rich internal world. It's like magic. It feels like magic. You feel like these people. I think about those characters walking and talking about, because they feel so real. People at stage door often sort of say, "I want what's going to happen next. Like what happens to them afterwards?" And I say, "Well, that's up to you to decide. I can't tell you that." But it's the creative process of it is really, really gratifying, and it's one of my being on stage is, that feels very special. But I love the process of rehearsing and doing it with Sam in particular. I loved all of those discussions and where it ended up taking you, and you'd realise. It made me think actually of being in sort of seminars when I was at university. I read English literature, and you'd be asked your opinion of something, and you'd say, "Well, I'm not quite sure yet," and then someone would say theirs, and you go, "Oh, well, no, I don't think that," and you'd realise by hearing what other people had to say, you realise, "Oh, I do know what I think about that, and I do know how I feel," and then you find yourself articulating it, and it's sort of taking you by surprise that, where did that come from? It just takes a while to bubble to the surface, and then there it is, and you can see it really clearly.